So I always say, if you think you're doing enough, think again.
Yeah.
There's always more effort we could do reaching out to existing people, and it'll lead to good stuff.
This is Stay Paid, a sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals and retain more business.
Welcome to another episode of Stay Paid. I'm Joshua Stike along with Luke Acree. And before we bring on our guest today, we'd love it if you take a minute to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. If you're not already subscribed, and if you're not, come on. I mean,
what are you doing?
What are you waiting for? While you're there, drop us a review and a comment. We'll read it here on the show. Our guest today is John Randall. John has been in the financial industry since 1999, mostly as an award-winning financial advisor for 20 years, and now an award-winning coach and consultant since 2004. He coaches some of the largest and fastest-growing financial advisor practices across the country. Helping businesses grow is John and his team of coaches' specialty. He's a certified master coach and is finishing his doctorate degree in performance psychology this year. John, welcome to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm a big fan. I'm a subscriber.
Yes.
And happy to be part of this.
There we go.
I think John's the first one to actually say he's a subscriber. Not that any of our other guests haven't subscribed. We know we love you, all other guests.
We don't say to subscribe enough.
Yes, exactly. But we appreciate that. Hey, man, I'm excited to have you on. I know you're an expert in really helping financial advisors grow their business, but really it extends beyond financial advising. You're really a business guru and can help people today. And I'm really excited about that. Would love for you to start and kind of share just how you got into coaching, how you got into advising. Just lead us up to today.
Yeah, I really stumbled into this whole coaching consulting that I do that I'm really passionate about. I started as an advisor as a young kid straight out of college. My wife was from New York. I thought that'd be a pretty good place to start in the financial industry. And we lived there for about 5 years. Her brother was on a baseball scholarship in North Carolina, in the town we live in now, in Greenville, North Carolina. And we were, flying down, driving down to watch him play home games. And we just kind of fell in love with this part of the country. So when I moved, I kind of started over. And when I moved, it launched this coaching consulting I do. All these advisors around here said, hey, what are those big producers doing in New York? Would you show me? So I showed them. And I probably took about a year and a half to rebuild what it took me my first 5 years in the business. I knew what worked and what didn't. And so a whole new group of other financial advisors said, whoa, how did you grow so fast? Would you show me? And then some people, started to hear that I was showing other people and told me about some people in Texas, and they flew me to Texas, and it just kind of took off around the country. And I really enjoyed helping other people grow. Is really the essence of what I do. It's really evolved over the last, really 18 years. In 2004 is the year I moved to North Carolina. It's evolved over the years since then. And I'm just really passionate about that. I became so passionate. It's all I do. So I'm no longer an advisor. I'm 5 years out of that. I just help financial advisors grow. And it's a natural niche because I was an advisor. I know these people for going to conferences but you're right. I mean, what we do is very applicable to any business. I didn't make any of this stuff up. I've just copied and pasted, some great people I get to work with and copied and pasted what works for them.
I think that is just to point out to the audience, I think that's a thing that people don't realize. Like success really is replicating what's worked, adding your own flair. And rarely, I shouldn't say rarely, but you're not probably going to be the person who comes up with the new wheel.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's just take the wheel and just add your flair to it and make it a tiny bit better and improve the process.
Yeah, your communication style can cut through to certain people or engage with certain people. We were talking a little bit before, let's jump into it, about this idea of, one of the number one questions we get from our audience, whether it's real estate agents, financial advisors, insurance agents, or even retail stores, is how do I get new customers, right? How do I grow my business through leads? Where are those leads coming from? You gave us an interesting take on that. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, this is my favorite topic, by the way, how to attract new business, new clients, better clients, how to move up. But people miss the number one fundamental to do that. And there's two ways to grow any business. Number one, do more with existing clients. Number two, attract new clients. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if you're a financial advisor, real estate agent, or you have a restaurant. Those business growth fundamentals apply everywhere. And so many people want to go to number two. They want to go right to attracting new clients. And I love that topic. But the reason that number one is do more with existing clients is it's your quickest path to new clients. So when someone, comes to me and says, hey, John, I really want to grow my practice. Would you show me what you did or what other people are doing? I start with, hey, well, what are you doing now? What's the value that you offer people? And let's take a look there. Because if you really polish that up, that can be one of your greatest growth catalysts. So there's certainly some within there, but I challenge everyone that don't go right to number 2. Start with number 1. Make sure that that is in order, because the better your experience for your clients is, the better your value is that you offer people. It'll be so much easier to do number 2, to attract more people and much better people. You'll become like a magnet.
And it plays into, the math makes sense as well. It's something like 7 times more expensive to get a new client than to retain an existing client. So what are you doing? Like, what does that look like tactically? Like when you say do more for your clients, what does that actually look like from an activity standpoint?
So number 1 is retention. Client retention in itself is a growth method. And a lot of businesses, especially these, a lot of subscribers here, a lot of our businesses involve working with people. And if we retain these people for a long time, they continue to do more business with us. That's a very profitable part of really any business. So just consider that. That's like, the foundation of the building, of the house. So going deeper can mean a lot of different things. With financial advisors, there might be more assets to manage. There might be more financial planning advice that could be given. There could be an insurance strategy that you haven't thought about. I just hung up with a 25-year veteran advisor, started with in New York, really great person. And we talked about a basic strategy to bring to their, top multi-million dollar clients, just a kind of a basic insurance thing to shield some tax money. And I won't go into the particulars and bore anyone on it, but there's always more. And that's what this advisor said. There's always more I can do with people. There's like growth methods there. And you know what happened? This client told their brother about it. And then the brother told 2 of their friends about it. And it turned into 4 awesome sales out of just one idea going deeper with clients. So there's always more business that can be done. And so whatever industry you're in, I would look at what are the needs of the people that you serve.
That's a great...
How can you help them with more things?
That's a great point. And also we had Dan Allison on the podcast, and he said that I think the average service professional has 7 to 8 different services that they can actually provide to their clients, but the average client only knows about one. So there's a big education gap there too, from the perspective of how are you making sure that your clients know everything that you do offer within that existing relationship?
Yeah, there's so much more. Look at just the restaurant experience, right? You got to have appetizers, a salad, a main course, dessert, cocktails,
catering,
really nice bottle of wine. You could go nuts. It's so true that the lowest hanging fruit sitting in front of us, we often miss. There's so much more that everyone listening could do with their clients. And starting there is big because people value when you help them with more things. Don't think of it as you're selling them with more things. If you offer value to other people, then it's valuable to them. And the more value will become, then they start to talk about you with you even having to have a really cool referral ask. It just happens. And within 6 months of everyone I work with who does these things, they all start just getting unsolicited referrals. Just people start coming in because they're doing a better job with what they have. And it's so simple. Now, another caveat of going deeper is, what is the experience? So a lot of us, there's a smaller number of clients that really create a lot of the revenue, a lot of the profits. So how can we go deeper with those people? How can we really enhance the experience with those people? So, client service, client experience are 2 different things. Service is kind of expected, right? If you're working with a financial advisor, you kind of expect to get some decent portfolio and something good. You work with an insurance agent, you expect to get, a decent rate on your policies. When it comes to the experience, though, the experience is the feeling that people get as a result of doing business with you. And that's where you can really, turn on the access to other people. If you make people feel special, like they are the Queen of England or Oprah Winfrey, they're just so special. And you make them feel that way with the way that you and your team interact with them, just the little care you have, just the extra phone call you make, maybe a little a thoughtful touch, a handwritten note, a small gift that's meaningful to them. All those little things you could do, they really make a difference. They don't have to do this for everybody. You could literally do this with one client, 3 clients, maybe your top 10 clients. You deploy some of these client experience strategies, but you deploy some of these things. I mean, you don't even have to do much to try and get new leads, and it really just happens. So that's, part of going deeper as well.
Yeah.
Is how we make these people feel much more special as a result of doing business with you.
I'm reminded of, we interviewed Jay Baer, who wrote the book Utility or whatever. And he talked about the podiatrist example, which is spot on to what you're saying. This podiatrist was getting an immense amount of repeat business, referrals, just their practice was blowing up, right? This doctor. And when he went in and kind of consulted and found out what the doctor was doing, they weren't doing something earth-shattering. They were doing something very simple. They added basically a phone call to all new patients to welcome them, and then all patients before they went in for a major like surgery or anything like that. And it's like what Jay Baer pointed out is exactly what you're pointing out, which is everybody expected the phone call after surgery. How's the pain? How's the medicine? You just expect that service, right? But nobody expected to get a call from the actual doctor before they went in, as crazy as that sounds. And that little bit caused their, doctor's office just to explode.
What's neat? That didn't cost a lot of money. It was just a little bit of effort. That's what's neat about a lot of these experience things. They're not expensive. I'm a student of the Ritz-Carlton. They're known for being one of the most successful client service organizations. It's very applicable. If your business deals with humans, there is learning from the Ritz-Carltons. A lot of books about them. There's the Gold Standard. There's Excellence Wins by Horst Schultz, one of the co-founders. It's really great stuff. And a lot of what you learn is it's effort-based is all it is. It's not that they're spending a lot of money to make people feel special. It's little things that all the ladies and gentlemen there do to make others feel special. It's that extra phone call. A handwritten note. Like, who does that these days? How many people? It's so impressive when you actually get one, when you get something that's relevant, like an article or a gift that aligns with the interests. Maybe it doesn't have to be expensive, just a small little thing. All these little things, it's just a little bit of effort makes a difference. Now, if you have team members, they're allowed to do this too. So if you have someone answering the phone or helping you schedule appointments, these little things that they could be listening for help, just listen to what's going on in their life. Like, my dog is sick. I'm going to have to reschedule, my appointment. Oh my gosh, there's something we could do here. Why don't we send a gift to the dog? Why don't we call the client in a couple of days, say, oh my gosh, we're so worried about your dog. How are they doing? That deepens the relationship. And it's just a little bit of effort that could be done that really makes people feel special.
Or even keeping a note of it and bringing that up on the next call. Like, hey, by the way, how's the dog? Like that carries so much weight in the relationship. And I also love how you pointed out, look, if you're not, like, you might not be able to do it with everyone right away, but start doing it with someone.
The key. And this sounds overwhelming to a lot of people. Like, oh my gosh, I could never be the Ritz-Carlton. Well, none of us can. That's an incredible organization that's figured this out over many, 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 many years. Start with one client. Yeah. Start with 3 clients. Start with maybe your top 10. You really can start small. And if you have a term that Ritz uses is have your radar on and antenna up with this small group of people, it's much easier to pick up on the things going on in their life and the little things that might make them feel special. It's much easier to do with a small number of people. Maybe it gets expanded, but you make a small number of your ideal clients feel special, small number of people who can connect you to others like them or other ideal clients for your business. Oh my gosh, it's like the geese that laid the golden egg.
How are you coaching people on that, on asking for the referral? I know a lot of people kind of stumble with that because they don't want to come out and ask. They don't want to sound needy. They don't want to impose anything. Like, making a referral is a big deal for a lot of people. How are you coaching your advisors to ask for that?
I would say listen to Brandon Hegg's podcast that he did with
That's a perfect plug right there.
It is the easiest method we've ever seen, that IPA method of improve, praise, ask. It's not like the put a piece of paper and a pen in front of somebody and ask them, who's 5 people you know that own an airplane? Like, it's not a off-putting. It doesn't make anyone uncomfortable. I think the more comfortable you make people feel in that setting, the best. Referrals are actually all about turning people's radar on. A lot of times you may not even get the referral when you position referrals properly. But if you turn people's radar on and they go out into the world, it might be 2 weeks later, they come across somebody and they say, you know what? Oh my gosh, I should refer this person to Brandon because I was thinking about it. So if you listen to his podcast, it's really just, IPA stands for improve, praise, ask. Improve is, hey, what can we do better? We want to be the best. And clients usually say, oh my gosh, you're really good. And then praise is, I really enjoy working with you. You're one of our best clients, and here's why. You always take our advice, or you always get our latest policies that saves you money. Whatever it might be that you could say about the client. And if you get real specific, which kind of leads into this next topic of target marketing, but if you can get real specific that I really enjoy working with people like you, I really enjoy working with executives with XYZ company, or I really enjoy working with other podiatrists just like you, it kind of directs them to what to look for. And the ask, it could simply be that seed planting, that reminder of, if there's anyone that like you that I can help, just let me know. I'll make time for them. And so you're turning their radar on as they go out into the world. And so if they're feeling really good about the experience, you just, you have that simple conversation that Brandon will take you through a little further. Oh my gosh, it makes it so easy. And it works. It's probably the best method I've ever seen. I've tried them all myself. I've seen advisors try them all. It's the greatest thing. It really works very quickly for people.
I love that. I agree. And what I loved about what Brandon said and what you're saying is just so much of it people don't understand is that brand awareness. It's the turning the radar on. It's the top of mind. It's they're not thinking about it. And if you can get them thinking about it and you're referable, which is a criteria, that's just the foundation. You got to be referable. Then people will give. They just don't know to give. And that's a huge mistake that people make is they just don't ask enough. I'm curious, before we move into target marketing, do you have any advice you give to people how often they should be in front of their database? Like how often should you be touch point wise in front of your clients? Have you seen success in that in any of the advisors you've worked with?
So I'll share some data from another firm. This comes from a big financial company, and they shared that this comes from Invesco, who does a lot of interesting research on the financial industry. And I was at a conference, a Forbes Top Advisor conference that was last October. They had some interesting data, and they said for people that get 4 meaningful contacts a year, that those clients were like low single, like 3 or 4% likely to refer. They said the clients that have monthly meaningful contact, they were like 94%.
Wow.
Likely to refer. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
So I have a friend named Rob Knapp. He was executive financial industry, wrote a great book, Supernova Advisor. So one of book quote, that's one of my favorite books I like to read. He kind of figured that out, that he was good at bringing in clients, wasn't great at keeping them. And that's kind of the story of the book of, hey, how can I enhance the experience and, take care of my top people? And one of the things he found is that they just wanted to hear more often. So if you're in the financial industry, the markets are crazy. People just want to hear your voice that, hey, we're going to be okay. This happens in cycles. It's a good thing for rebalancing. We're buying some stuff low right now. Oh gosh, because I was worried, thank you. Mm-hmm. And guess what? Next month, next statement comes out. These aren't long. These don't have to be long. They're just short phone calls really make a big difference. So what Supernova Advisor did is just lay out over the course of the year. You can have 4 like traditional meetings, but have short phone calls in between. So there's your monthly meaningful contact. And as your business gets bigger, if you have a bunch of insurance agents on your team, I mean, there could be other people from your team reaching out and doing it, but that really says a lot. And I tell you, the real estate agents, whoever's reaching out to their people more often, they get the most. So I always say, if you think you're doing enough, think again. Yeah. There's always more effort we could do reaching out to existing people, and it'll lead to good stuff. Just like Invesco's data suggested, we'll get a lot more referrals.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, for us, in our experience, we've always told people minimum once a month. Ideally, we have found, obviously, if you can drip on someone 26 times a year, of course, you're accounting a lot of different things there, then you will have such a solid relationship with them because you're in front of them every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks out of the year, they're getting something from you. They're talking to you. And if you think about your friends, like if you think about it in terms of touch points, then you're like, whoa. But if you think about it in terms of like your friends, you're like, if I only talk to my friend, my actual good friend every 2 weeks, they wouldn't be that great of a friend, right? So it's like, so the point being is that it's really hard. I always tell people it's really hard to do too many touch points. It's really easy to do too little. I think people get scared that they're going to do too many. We have an example of an advisor. His business pulls out like $6 million a year is what they produce. And he's doing 200 touch points a year. Now he counts everything, every email sent, every text message, right? He's an analytical guy, of course. So I say, okay, 200, maybe you don't have to put in that much effort, but heck, look at his business.
Well, don't make it 200 phone calls.
Not 200 phone calls. But the point being is I always drive it home for people that it's very hard to do too many touch points. It's if they're meaningful and the right intent and the right heart, the right posture that you're doing towards the client, very hard to do too many. So talk to us about target marketing and, going after that second half. So if you've mastered and you're focusing, going deeper with your current clients, because it's the easiest path forward, what about going after the market that doesn't know you exist? What's your advice there?
So I would just say that it's easier to be a bigger fish in a smaller pond. If you're a small fish in the big ocean, it's really hard to get known. So there are riches in niches. And so if you can target your efforts on a smaller number of people, you'll become that bigger fish in that smaller pond and become known much easier to the people you'd like to work with. So the advisors that I work with that figure this out, they grow so quickly. And a lot of people out there don't realize that they might have a niche sitting right in front of them. And it might start with one person that you do business with. Might be the niche that leads to a whole bunch of other people. So not everyone likes to refer, but you probably have connectors in your blog that may have referred you others. That's the easiest places to start. What do they do? What's their connections to people like them? And could that be a target you go after? It could be people that are members of a certain country club. Could be someone that works in a certain industry or someone that works at a specific company. It is a game changer because it's so much easier. I'll tell a great story about an advisor. Is one of my favorite clients who worked with, does a little bit of coaching with us now. I met him. He was only doing maybe $250,000 in revenue in his business about 10 years ago. 10 years later, he grew this, applying all the simple stuff. He basically did the stuff that we're talking about here is all he did. And he grew it to 2.8 million and sold the whole thing for 10 million. Now he's a big real estate mogul, buying and selling real estate or apartment complexes. So the niche for this person was they realized, oh my gosh, I got two people that work at the same place. I really like working with them. They're very easygoing. One person referred me to the other one, and they said, maybe I could do more here. And you know what? It turned into like 120 clients over the years because this person, this advisor just was laser focused on this one place of business. And their goal is, I want to work with as many people as possible at this one place. So not everyone has like a company that they can be a target, but it's one of the best ones that you could have because guess what? People spend a lot of time with the people they work with. So it's very easy for them to chat. It's very easy for them to refer other people just like them. And if you really focus your efforts to be an expert with the people in your target and really position yourself that, hey, I love working with these kind of people, it gets so much easier. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, these are the advisors that just, when I have sessions with them, they say, oh my gosh, I have so many new people coming in. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I need to hire another financial advisor on my team to handle this. It happens every time. When you focus on the niche, it's just like a massive explosion in action.
Is there Yeah, is there like a process that you have people go through in order to find their ideal client? You're nodding, so I'm assuming there's some sort of process. Is it a one size fits all type of thing?
And it's kind of a mystery for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it was for me. I kind of found mine as an advisor. It's we're all busy. We have all these distractions. It's hard to do, but there's a process you can go through. And I can guarantee there's somebody in your book now that is the start of a niche. Maybe one client and maybe a group of clients that you have, that's the start. It's just identifying that. It's identifying who I enjoy working with, who I have access to and could get deeper with others. It's big. I think for any of us, new business is about access. Who do we really have access to? It's hard to be unknown. It's hard to go to a pond that, we have no access to and try and become known. There's so much effort to try and break in and get there. But if you have an access point, someone can get you in. Oh my gosh, it happens quickly.
Yep. I have found too that it has a lot to do with like when you get down to a niche, you can really define that value proposition.
So much clearer.
Yeah, that you bring to the table. And so it's like if you're in real estate and you work majority with families who are buying their first home, right? Type idea. Then all of your marketing can go around that messaging. Every data point that you give talks about what's happening with families and first-time home buyers for families. Like it's just everything hones in, and it makes it so much easier now to know, hey, this is the content I put out. Every time I have conversations, it's around this. The big fear, though, is that most people don't think their niche is going to be big enough to provide for them. And that's what you see in new like agents, new advisors, stuff all the time. They feel they have to go out there and just everybody and anybody just spread and cast as wide as net as possible because they don't think the niche is going to provide. What do you say to an advisor or to an agent that has like that struggle, that mental block?
I have a chapter about that in my book. Attract more clients, better clients. It's basically all the stuff we're talking about here. I have a whole chapter on that, just how, casting that wide net is what we think we should do. But we pick up a lot of junk, right? If you cast like a net in the sea, you're going to get, buckets and all kinds of
plastic,
trash, and, right? Yeah. You're going to get stuff you don't want. You're not going to get that awesome tuna that you're really after. So that's where targeting cuts out the clutter. It cuts out the track, cuts out the people that you don't want to work with. So it is scary to say, whoa, I'm going to start fishing in a small pond. But the people who do it, and the smaller the pond they do it in, the bigger results they get. It gets so much easier to go fishing and to get, the big ones, the kind of penetration that you want to have. Now, look, you could have 1, 2, maybe 3 targets or niches that you work. I see people usually have 1 to 3 that they'll work. So, it doesn't have to be just one small pond, but you've got to graduate from trying to get anyone anywhere. It's too hard to get known. It's much easier to get known and get easy referrals when you're working a much smaller market. So not just podiatrists, but maybe podiatrists, with a specialty that maybe are in like this exact location. The deeper you can go in with your niche, again, much easier to find others just like them.
Love that. Talk about this client advocacy boards and how you're using that or coaching people on that to attract new clients, better clients.
So it's just a group of people in a target is the best way to learn how to work with people like them. So I've gotten to participate, a lot of these that I did when I had my practice, but I get to participate in some with some of the top fast growing advisors that I work with. And so they're basically just a group of favorite clients, connectors, people who are in the target. And it's almost like that same IPA process for referral. You almost run the meeting the same way and you let them know, hey, you're among my favorite people to work with. We want to be the best at working with people like you, and just ask for their help. How do we get connected with people like you?
So this is almost like if you were me? It's a mastermind group of like your clients that are helping you.
I call it an advocacy board, not an advisory board, because it's not like a focus group. It's not, hey, what do you think we should do different? They might say, well, our statement's really long and hard to read. Can you change that? Oh, not really.
Yeah, because compliance.
It's just people that are referring, people in the niche. These are the advocates that are in the group. So the advocates get it. You don't even have to have a referral conversation. They
probably makes them feel special too.
Yes, they suddenly have ownership. over what you're doing, because you're asking for their advice. And if you implement what they suggest, they're going to be all over it, right? If you're asking them, hey, should I put on some cool event that's really fun and people like you would want to come with? Oh my gosh, yes. If you did this, I would invite my friends. Cool. When should we do it? How should we invite them? What time should we do it? If you let them pick all these things, they suddenly own it. They're going to show up. They're going to bring people to it. And it's like, rocket fuel for your strategy. And listening to them is so big. I know as advisors, I'm sure a lot of other professionals, we think we know it's going to work. Or we heard, hey, someone else did this, so I'm going to copy and paste it. These strategies work, but you've got to listen to your target. What do they want to do?
Yes.
They might not want to go to the fancy steakhouse. This advisor grew from 250 to 2.8 million, sold their business for 10 million. They were trying to take people in their niche to a fancy steakhouse. And they said, we don't like it. We got this place that, it's a barbecue place. They serve beer. We like going there. If you do some things there, I'll bring everyone. I'll bring all the people that we work with. Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So their guidance is so critical in your niche. You really want to go deeper. You need some guides to help you along the way. So look, you could have a small group of people. You could have multiple boards of people within a niche. You could have boards within multiple niches. And look, you could have these same individual conversations with people. You don't have to have a board. You could have, client advocacy board, individual conversations to get the guidance from those people. They know what's going to work. We may not know. So we just got to learn for them and let them be your guide. That's the best way to think about it. They're flattered to be part of it. They will gladly give feedback. These advocates get it. And that's kind of people you want to have in a group.
I love that, man. Yes, that's so good. I mean, you mentioned the Allison interview, and then he said one of the best things you can do is instead of hiring a consultant, just go to your top clients and ask them what they love. There's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, they're your best consultants, and they pay you.
Yeah, they pay you.
Yeah.
It's right in front of us. We miss it.
Well, got to ask you, John, is there a mantra that you live your life by, like a principle or mantra you tend to live your life by?
It's make a difference in the world. It's really, I wake up every day just thinking, how can I make a difference in the world? My wife, she's a principal of a little private school. She loves it. She makes a difference every day for these kids. We try and teach our two sons, that life's about making a difference in the world. I'm very proud of really close friends that, they have the same mantra and they really try and make a difference. And, you just apply it in life and in business, good things happen. But hey, and we're all humans. And, if we make a difference for other people in the world, good things come back to us. So try and live every day and wake up every day thinking about that.
I love that. Yeah, it's so good. I always tell people, if you want a life of significance, it's do a life of service. And that's really where impact comes from. And it's really where legacy and all that comes from. So that's fantastic.
All right, John, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. Before we close out, let people know how they can connect with you, learn more about what you're doing.
Yeah, you can check out our website, dynamicdirections-g2.com. Check me out on LinkedIn. Look me up. It's Jon Randall, Randall. Look me up on Facebook. I'm always hanging out up there. That's where most people find me and message me. So love to answer more questions. Love to share more value. I've got tons of videos out there. They're all on social media about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, his videos are great, guys. Check them out.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. It's so great to be on here. I love what you guys are doing. Keep it going.
Thanks, John. And thanks for subscribing, John. Appreciate that. Really appreciate that.
I love it. I'm a student of the business. I love listening to your guests. It's fun.
Thank you all so much for listening. You can dive deeper into this episode to get the show notes along with all those links that John mentioned over at staypaidpodcast.com is where you will find all of those. If you enjoyed this episode and looking for ways to support the show, only two ways we ask you to do that. First is head on over to Apple Podcast, drop us a 5-star review and a comment to let us know how we're doing. And the best way to show your support is to tell a colleague about this episode. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can find us on social media as well. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. What a great episode. I literally looked at the clock and I was like, I can't believe how much time went by. That was crazy. And I feel like we barely scratched the surface. That was awesome. So here's my action item for you, because I think it's really powerful, something you guys can all take advantage of right away. Create that client advocacy board. What an incredible idea that we have never heard before on the podcast, where you can literally get together your target audience, your advocates, and literally it will make them feel special, and you get to learn what's going to be valuable to them so you can go attract more people like them. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every single business is top producers take action. take action on that today.